Hello everyone, and welcome back to English Flow Studio. Today, we are talking about vocabulary. We are talking about how to learn new words so they stay in your mind for a long time. Many learners spend time studying vocabulary. They write words down, they look at lists, they try hard. But after a few days, the words begin to go. They fade, they become weak. They are not easy to find anymore. You study a word on Sunday, by Wednesday it feels distant. You see it and something comes back a little, but you cannot use it. You cannot say it naturally. Sometimes the meaning is not clear anymore. The word is still somewhere in your mind, but it is not strong. It is not ready. This happens to everyone. It happens to every learner at every level. So today, we are going to talk about why this happens, and we are going to talk about what you can do about it. I will share some ideas and strategies that really work. Let's begin.
First, let us understand something important. Forgetting is normal. It is not a problem with you. It is not a problem with your memory. Forgetting is something the brain does naturally. The brain is always working. It is always receiving information from conversations, from sounds, from things you see, from things you feel. There is a lot coming in every single day, and the brain has to make choices. It cannot keep everything, so it decides what to hold and what to release. If a word does not appear again after you learn it, if it is not used, not seen, not connected to anything, the brain decides it is not important, so it lets the word go. The word becomes soft. It becomes light. It slowly moves away. It is still there, somewhere, but it is not close. It is not strong. It is not part of your active language. Think of it like a fire. When you first learn a word, you light a small flame. But if you do not add more wood, if you do not return to the word, use it, meet it again, the flame gets smaller and smaller until it is almost nothing, just a little warmth, just a little smoke. What we want is the opposite. We want the fire to grow. We want words to become strong, bright, and warm. We want them to be there when we need them. Now, to do that, we need to understand how memory actually works, and then we can work with it, not against it. Forgetting is not the enemy. Forgetting is information. It tells you which words need more attention. Here is something that changes the way you think about studying. Memory is not like a box where you put things and they stay. Memory is more like a muscle. If you use it, it gets stronger. If you leave it alone, it gets weaker. And the way you use it matters a great deal. When you first learn a new word for the first time, your brain creates a very thin connection, like a very light pencil line on paper. You can see it, but one small movement and it is gone. Every time you return to that word, every time you bring it back, use it, or meet it again, that line gets a little darker, a little deeper, a little more permanent. After enough returns, the line becomes like something carved into stone, clear, strong, lasting. This is why review is so important, not reviewing the same day 10 times in a row, but reviewing across days, across time, with space between each visit. That space, that gap, is where memory does its real work. There is also something else. When you only look at a word, your brain does easy work. It recognizes, but recognition is not enough for speaking. Speaking requires production. You need to find the word yourself, quickly, without looking. That is a completely different skill, and it needs completely different practice. So we need two things. We need to review words at the right time, and we need to practice producing words, not just recognizing them. Let us now talk about how to do both of these things. Before we talk about what works, let us be honest about what does not. Most learners study vocabulary like this. They find a new word, they write it in a notebook with the translation, they look at it a few times that day. They feel like they know it, they move on. This approach has a problem. Looking at a word is passive. The brain is not working hard. It is just confirming what it already sees. And passive practice builds weak memory. There is also the problem of too many words at once. Some learners try to study 20, 30, even 50 words in one evening. This feels productive. It looks like a lot of learning. But the brain cannot process that many new things deeply at the same time. The words become crowded. They mix together. None of them become truly strong. And then there is the timing problem. If you study words today and never return to them, or return to them too late when the memory is already very weak, the practice does not help much. The result is always the same. Words that feel okay in a notebook but disappear the moment you try to speak. The problem is not how much you study. The problem is how you study and when you come back. Now let us talk about what actually works. I want to give you 5 ideas. These ideas work together. They build on each other. And if you use them regularly, you will notice a real difference. This is the most important idea in this video, so please listen carefully. When you learn a new word, you need to come back to it. But the timing matters. If you come back too soon, the same hour, the same day, the memory is still fresh. Coming back does not help much. It is too easy. But if you wait, if you let a little time pass, 1 day, 2 days, the memory starts to weaken just a little. And if you return at exactly that moment, just before the word fades completely, something important happens. The memory comes back stronger than before, deeper, more solid. Each time you do this, each time you return at the right moment, the word becomes harder to lose. It becomes more stable, more reliable. Come back tomorrow, then 3 days later, then 1 week later. Each gap gets a little longer. Each return makes the memory stronger. This is called spaced review, and it is one of the most powerful things you can do for vocabulary. Write new words on small cards. Group them today, tomorrow, this week, next week. Each time you remember a word correctly, move it to the next group. Each time you forget, bring it back to the start. Simple, but very effective. There is a big difference between looking at a word and remembering a word. When you look at a word, the brain does very little work. It sees, it confirms, it moves on. When you try to remember a word, when you cover it, look only at the meaning, and try to pull the word from your own memory, the brain works hard. It searches, it reaches. And that searching, that reaching, is where strong memory is built. This is called retrieval, and retrieval practice is one of the best studied memory techniques in the world. Here is the important part. When retrieval feels difficult, when you are not sure, when you have to think, that difficulty is not a problem. That difficulty is the learning. That small struggle is making the connection in your brain deeper and stronger. So when you review, do not just read. Cover the word. See only the meaning. Try to bring the word back. Try to find it. Then check. The effort of remembering is not a sign of weakness. It is the feeling of memory getting stronger. A word without a context is like a person without a home. Hard to find, hard to hold. When you learn a new word, do not just store the meaning. Give it a real place. Put it inside a sentence, and make that sentence personal. Make it about your own life, your own experiences, your own world. For example, you learn the word determined. Determined means you have decided to do something and nothing will stop you. Do not just write, "She is determined." Write something that belongs to you. Write, "When I decided to improve my English, I felt determined. Nothing was going to stop me." Or, my younger sister is the most determined person I know. She never gives up. Now the word is connected to something real, something you have felt, something you have seen. And words that live inside real experiences are much harder to forget. They have a place, they have a story, they belong somewhere. Every time you learn a new word, ask yourself, where does this word live in my life? Find the answer. Write it. Say it aloud. There's something special that happens when you meet a word you studied, not in your notebook, but in real English. You were listening to a podcast, and suddenly you hear it. You were reading a short article, and there it is. You were watching a video, and the speaker uses your word in a real sentence. In that moment, your brain does something powerful. It connects. It says, I know that word. I studied that word. And that moment of recognition in a real and natural context builds memory in a way that no study session can fully replace. This is called exposure, real exposure, meeting words in real English, not in a list, not in a textbook, but in the living language that real people use every day. So after you learn a new word, go looking for it. Find a short podcast or video in English. Read something. You do not need to understand everything. You are simply listening or reading with your word in mind. And when you find it, when the word appears in front of you in the real world, something shifts. The word stops being a study item and starts becoming part of your language. Notebooks teach words. The real world makes them yours.
This idea is the bridge between vocabulary you know and vocabulary you can actually use. Most vocabulary practice happens in silence, reading, writing, thinking, but speaking is completely different. Speaking is fast. Speaking is live. There is no time to search through your memory slowly. The word needs to come quickly, naturally, without effort. And the only way to train that, the only way to make words fast and natural in your mouth, is to actually speak them out loud, in real sentences, in real time. After you learn a new word, say it. Say it in a sentence, not a written sentence, a spoken sentence. Let your voice carry the word. Let your ears hear it. This connects the word to your speaking system, to the part of your brain that produces live language. Then, go further. Have a short conversation with yourself in English. Describe something from your day. Talk about something you were thinking about, and find a way to use your new word naturally inside that conversation. This is the practice that closes the gap between knowing a word and saying it, between recognizing and producing, between passive and active. Each evening, spend 3 minutes speaking English to yourself. Use at least one new word from that day. It does not have to be perfect, it just has to be spoken. A word you have only read is a word you recognize. A word you have spoken is a word you own. Now let us make this practical. Here is a simple daily plan. It does not take a lot of time, but it needs to be regular. Consistent practice builds real vocabulary. One big session does not. Morning, about 10 minutes. Start by reviewing words from the previous days. Do not look at them first. Cover them. Try to bring each word back from your memory. This is your retrieval practice. It is short, but it is one of the most effective things you can do. Then, spend a few minutes reading something short in English, just a paragraph or two. During the day, about 5 minutes, learn 2 or 3 new words. For each word, write one personal sentence. Say the sentence aloud. Connect the word to something real in your life. Evening, about 10 minutes. Review today's new words. Cover them. Try to remember them. Then, speak. Use your new words in 2 or 3 spoken sentences. Talk to yourself. Describe your day. Let the words move through your voice. Before sleep, about 3 minutes, look at your new words one last time.
Gently, quietly, just let your mind rest on them. While you sleep, your brain continues to work with memory. It organizes, it strengthens. A quiet review before sleep gives the brain good material to work with overnight. Total time, under 30 minutes each day, but done every day. This builds vocabulary that is deep, stable, and ready to speak. I want to say one last thing before we finish. Vocabulary is not just a list of words. Vocabulary is your voice. Every word you add to your active vocabulary, every word that becomes ready and natural when you speak, gives you something new. A new way to express a feeling, a new way to tell a story, a new way to make someone understand something they could not have understood from you before. That is not a small thing. That is a real and meaningful growth. Think about words you already know deeply, words like home, tired, beautiful. You do not search for these words. They simply come. They are part of you. They are part of how you see and describe the world. That is exactly what we are building. For every new word, slowly, patiently, one return visit at a time, one spoken sentence at a time. The words stop falling away. They stop fading. They become stable. They become reliable. They become yours. You are not collecting words. You are building the voice that speaks them.
Okay, let us bring everything together. Today, we talked about why vocabulary disappears and why that is normal, not a failure. We talked about how memory works like a muscle, not a box. And we talked about 5 ideas that really help. Come back to words at the right time. Bring words back from memory yourself. Give every word a real place in your life. Find words in real English outside your notebook and speak your words out loud, because speaking is a different skill from reading and writing, and it needs its own practice. And we talked about a simple daily plan: morning review, afternoon learning, evening speaking, a quiet moment before sleep. Under 30 minutes every day. Here is your one action before you close this video. Choose one new word right now. Write one sentence about your real life. Say it aloud, just once. That is enough. That is a real beginning. Every word you keep is part of your voice. Every sentence you speak is part of your English. Build it one word at a time. If this video helped you, please give it a like. It helps English Flow Studio reach more learners who need it. Subscribe so you do not miss the next episode. Next time, we are going to talk about how to start speaking English with more confidence, even when you feel nervous, even when you feel unprepared. That one is something many of you have been waiting for. Until then, keep reviewing, keep speaking, keep building. This is Tommy. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.